got 6 minutes to deadline, Jonah. We need page one.
I don't pay you to be a sensitive artiste. I pay you because... Still not now. I pay you because for some reason that psycho Spider-Man will pose for you.
Spider-Man won't let me take any more pictures. You've turned the whole city against him.
A fact I'm very proud of. Now, get your pretty little portfolio off my desk before I go into a diabetic coma.
Boss, your wife's on the line. She said she lost a checkbook.
Thanks for the good news.
We did it, boys. We watched the second Spider-Man movie, right?
Talking about it like it was like something so hard to do.
It was so difficult. No. It was awesome. This is my favorite movie. This is my absolute favorite movie
of all time.
No, not of all time.
Okay,
but like out of all like, we'll go into this more later. But like out of all the Spider-Man movies, like even the ones with like Andrew Garfield and like
Tom Holland,
this one's my favorite out of all of them, just because of the nostalgia. But
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Welcome to Talk This Way, y'all. This
thank you.
Yeah.
This is a show where we talk about movies that no one has talked about in years.
Right.
But we make it relevant again.
Right.
Yeah,
this came out in 2004.
We just got onto it.
This movie will always be relevant.
This is true.
Oh, absolutely.
This is
Won't even
Tobey
have
Maguire
to.
has never been more popular. The Spider-Man trilogy has never been more popular in meme culture and everything. It's incredible.
Really only, Tom Holland has a couple. There's not really very many Andrew Garfield memes, but there are a lot of Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland ones. If you really cared, you'd be here. Comes out of Iron Man suit. Oh my God, Iron Man! Oh my gosh, it's Robert Downey Jr. I don't know that meme very well. Okay. So my name is Andrew Luttrell, as always. These are my co-hosts, Ethan Russell.
What's up?
And Brandon Milam.
Well, hi there.
Just to do some introductions. So we watched Spider-Man 2, which, again, I already stated is one of my favorites, but I know you like it a lot. Do you like it that much?
Yeah, I think I like that one the most out of that trilogy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm being honest.
Yeah. That's awesome. So so what was your guys' favorite part about this movie and why? Let's start with you.
Okay.
What was your favorite part and why?
Don't say the memes.
My favorite part,
You can't.
because no other Spider-Man adaptation has done this, and it's one thing I loved about it, is they showed the complete, stick with me here because this is kind of like I have to explain it to really get it, but
Okay.
I loved the fact that they had a big emphasis on Spider-Man's notoriety and how people think of him throughout the movies, because you have the Daily Bugle, which is slandering him every chance they get, and that's kind of it shows you throughout the movie that it's we're not sure if Spider-Man's really doing this for good or if he, whatever.
You've turned the whole city against him. In fact, I'm very proud of.
Yes, exactly. And so what I love, and this is getting into my favorite part of the movie, my favorite part of the movie is when he stopped the train and he was literally so exhausted from stopping the train that he literally was going to, he fainted. He did.
Yeah.
And he was just going to fall. But then all of the people of New York, caught him and did the whole, moved him over and sat him down. And then they had the whole thing where it's he's just a kid, and that kind of thing.
Even though Tobey Maguire is
I know. I knew
definitely
you
not
were
a
going to
child.
say that. I knew you were going to say that.
It's just a 28-year-old man. No, actually, he would have been 30 at that point.
True.
It's just a 30-year-old man.
Which I feel like that is my favorite part about those movies, is that it's the whole actions speak louder than words kind of thing. Because Daily Bugle and all that is all about just being oh, he's a menace, he's horrible, he's stupid,
Yeah.
and then it shows him actually saving people and people realizing it, because in all the other Spider-Man movies they never did that.
Right.
Not, to my knowledge, at least from my recollection of them, I don't ever remember them tackling that topic of they did a little bit, I guess, in Far From Home, I guess with the new ones if they ever come out, because it's the whole slander thing from Mysterio. But
I guess they did that at the end of Far From Home, like you were saying last time with how you were excited at the end. It was J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that That's the only time I remember that they even did that because they didn't do it at all in the Andrew Garfield like Amazing Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, they didn't really have any kind of.
Like they
That
did
I
a
know
little
of.
bit, but
But something that really impacted the story. It's
Right,
not
right,
something
right.
that was just like a nonchalant kind of
Yeah.
just talked about it a little bit thing.
yeah.
But it was more of a
Or one cop saying, "Get on the ground,"
Yeah.
This was like the whole city was against him, except for that one train that got saved.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
they were like, wow, and
Yeah.
kind of the same way with the first one too about the whole, when when he was holding up the cable car, and then the New York people started throwing crap at Green Goblin. It was kind of that same thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
a theme throughout the Sam Raimi trilogy is that kind of thing, and I think that's really cool.
Well,
So
that-
that's probably my favorite idea and part of the movie.
That's probably the most accurate to the comics as far as like the way Spider-Man was treated and accepted. You know what I mean? Like
Because he was not really accepted at
not
all.
too much. Now he wasn't accepted by normal New Yorkers. Now the people that he ended up saving, of course, you get saved, you're like, oh, I love you now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the people that were just normal that didn't ever weren't ever really involved with him at all. They were the ones that ended up hating him in the comics anyway.
Yeah.
I say this like I'm a master at the comics. I've only read a couple, like to be completely honest, but
Read more than
enough, yeah, like enough that I know, like basic lore. I guess I watch too many YouTube videos too. Yeah. Anyway, Brandon, what about you?
What was the question?
What's your favorite part of this movie and why?
Honestly, they seem to be like better stories, I guess, than the other ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. for
Like I know
sure.
you didn't ask me to compare them.
No,
to
it's okay.
The newer ones,
You
but
can.
I think yeah, I had no time to think about this. I'm in
it's
another
okay.
world right now.
You're good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like again, I don't like Tobey Maguire at all, but this movie, like it's got such nostalgia with me because I literally would watch it on my little PSP all the time, and I'd sit late, stay up late at night watching this movie, and just rewatching it, I'm like, man, this brings back so many memories,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like what you had with the first movie. You'd watch it when on your way to your grandparents' house or whatever. It's like that's what I did. I'd watch it on my PSP all the time. So
Yeah.
a lot of nostalgia for me, and it's hard though because like my favorite part was probably the end fight scene. Other than the memes that go with that, just the whole like choreography and the way that they fought, and then his turnaround, which I thought. Now that I'm older and I'm like got a more critic's mind about things, I look back and I'm like, that was dumb. Because immediately Octavius was like, you're right. There was no like, I don't know. I mean, there was like verbal wrestling, I guess, because Spider-Man was like talking, or Peter was talking to him about it. He was like, these arms have controlled you, have taken over your mind, But Octavius just kind of looked for a little while and then changed his mind. There was no inner dialogue. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, you know what, you're right. Which in my mind can be seen as lazy writing. It might not have been, but
I think what I really liked about this movie is that it was vastly different
Oh,
from
yeah.
the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, webs out of his actual wrists.
Right. Oh yeah, because he had erectile dysfunction the entire time. The entire time in this movie, he was like, "Why isn't it working? It's supposed to work." Well, you need a pill for that, my friend.
Yeah. But I loved the idea of like his powers becoming from the like happening and like being at their full strength when he like believes in what he's doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that was a big theme in this movie, especially. It was
Yeah.
like everybody was knocking him down.
Yeah.
It's like you're a great student, but you're late, or oh, you're fired, or
Yeah.
I don't, then you have the whole Mary Jane thing where it's just hit after hit after hit, and then
Bro.
he's literally like, what is the point of this? Like, why am I doing this?
There was not a moment in this movie that was relationship goals. Not a moment. The
really.
entire time you were like, that's probably not how you should handle that. You probably shouldn't handle it that way. I mean, literally, it went back and forth. It was like, I love you. I don't love you. Oh, okay. Well, I don't love you. But I do love you. Oh, no, but I love you now. But never mind. It's like,
But I'm going to leave my husband and probably marry you later.
oh, my God.
And then dump you again.
Yes.
So stupid.
Because why not?
At least I'm not gonna die.
I mean,
I don't think she dies.
least
yeah,
Uncle
I was
Ben
about
is
to
still
say, I don't
alive.
think she does.
Yeah. At least I'm not a girlfriend that dies. Anyway, all right. So yeah, with a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes, Spider-Man 2, was released on the
It was that
30th
long.
of June in 2004, which was literally 2 years, almost exactly 2 years. It was a month after, or a month and a couple days after the 2-year anniversary of the first one. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, this is a little kind of like, rundown summary of the plot. So Peter Parker is an unhappy man. After 2 years of fighting crime as Spider-Man, his life has begun to fall apart. The girl he loves is engaged to someone else. His grades are slipping. He cannot keep any job. And on top of that, the newspaper, the Daily Bugle, is attacking him viciously, claiming that Spider-Man is a criminal. He reaches the breaking point and gives up the crime-fighting lifestyle, once and for all. But after a failed fusion experiment, eccentric and obsessive scientist Dr. Otto Octavius is transformed into a supervillain, Dr. Octopus, or Doc Ock. Having 4 long tentacles as extra hands, Peter guesses it might just be time for Spider-Man to return. But would he act upon it? I thought that was pretty cool.
I had never heard that before.
Yeah. Well,
That showed that was basically the whole plot of this movie.
yeah, I mean,
summarized.
that's what it is. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's funny, like as I'm reading all of these IMDb like summaries, I'm like, wow, these are really well written, and it's not really spoiling that much. You know what I mean? Like if you know any, I mean,
if
would
you know
the villain.
anything about Spider-Man or anything, you
Right.
already know Dr. Octavius is going to be a bad guy.
Right,
It's,
and that's-
it's not difficult to figure that out.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah,
I don't really consider that a spoiler.
That's what I like about Spider-Man villains, and this is why. And people are gonna hate me, but this is why I like Spider-Man villains more than DC villains. And I don't mean like Marvel villains. I mean Spider-Man specifically villains versus any other villains, is because they're all like, it's not possible, obviously, because it's science fiction, but like, it kind of sounds possible, But it's always these innocent men that are trying to help people that just get to their lowest of the low and then end up turning, because of some science project gone wrong.
That's
It's
another thing I
all of it.
really like about Spider-Man stories is that
Oh, yeah.
his villains would have been him
Mhm.
if he chose a different path.
Mhm.
He
Literally.
just chose just the right path. He's
That's-
like one bad day away from being one of them.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's literally why. Oh, Stanley. God rest.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I love. There is not a lot of like Spider-Man villains that I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Even the ones that I'm not as hyped about, I'm still like, those are still pretty cool.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're all good.
And that's why I'm like, Doc Ock has been done so many times, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of sick of you, but at the same point, I'm like, but you're freaking awesome. You know what I mean?
Especially in the Spider-Man PS4 game. Whew!
That's what I'm saying.
He was so good.
It's freaking amazing. But all right, so yeah, the budget of this movie was almost triple the amount of the first one, $200 million.
Holy crap!
Opening weekend, it made $88 million.
Oh.
That's
big
pretty
oof.
good though.
Not compared to the first one. I have
True,
I
but
have them
like-
for comparison. The first one's opening weekend was 114 million. So it made an extra math, almost 35 million. Almost, yeah, that's a lot. The gross USA was 373 million, which the gross USA for the first one was 407 million, and then the cumulative worldwide gross was 788 million for Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man 1's was 825 million.
So that's really not much less. That's really good for a sequel.
I agree. That's just why I was comparing it, because at first you're like, God, that's like plummeted. They made their money back in their budget, but for a sequel, that's not bad, especially 2004. Trying to think about what other movies came out during that time that made that kind of profit.
Well,
I don't think very many did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I really don't know box office history. So.
I know I need to do more research about that.
You got to think there's way more theaters, and it's way more accessible now.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
it's only 2004, so it wasn't that long ago. But like, now you can go anywhere and you'll find a theater
Yeah,
or whatever. You
pretty
know what I'm
much.
saying? So they've really increased the amount of revenue they can get by the amount of
Not to
theaters and
mention,
stuff.
it's like a subscription service now, like AMC A-List and all those, like
Mhm.
Regal, whatever they do. It's like, you pay monthly and you go see a movie every day. It's like, okay, it's kind of difficult to not go to the theater for a decent wage now. If you go a lot, you know what I mean. If you don't go that often, then it's whatever. But if you actually enjoy going to the movies, it's easier now than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
AMC does not sponsor us.
no, and I don't really want
But
them to.
Arizona Sweet Tea also does not sponsor us.
We just like it very, very much.
I mean, hey, if you want to sponsor us, it's fine. I'm always like free tea.
Right.
Free tea's good.
So speaking of sponsors, let's set this aside and segue into our actual sponsor. So there we go. Now we're going to play the Two Truths. Nope. Yep. Two Truths and a Lie. I said Truth or Dare last time, and I was trying so hard not to do that, and I almost did it again.
Are you gonna dare us this time?
Let's
so,
do
yeah.
it.
If you haven't
My
heard,
favorite part. You looking straight at the paper, fam. I saw you. Oh, I thought it looked exactly like you were looking at the paper.
here we go.
Let me read all the ant. Let's go.
Let me read all the. There you go.
Okay, you don't have
Go
to
on.
be that bad.
So extra. All right. So if you haven't heard about this game or haven't listened to any of the other episodes, this is basically, normal Two Truths and a Lie. I take IMDb trivia, and I take 2 actual facts from my IMDb trivia, and then I write 1 lie, and I randomize it, so you have to figure out which one is the lie. Ethan has won pretty much all of them. You came close to a tie last time.
You got
So
it,
let's try and
Brandon.
change
good
that.
enough.
Let's try and change that. All right, no looking. So the number one, or the first one, if you look closely at Peter's apartment, you can see the pictures he took of Mary Jane in the first movie just before he was bitten by the radioactive spider. And the second one, Willem Dafoe was not originally supposed to return for this movie, but he was walking back to his apartment one night and saw the cast and crew filming nearby, and he stopped by the set to say hello, and the filmmakers decided to give him a cameo. And then the third one is the character of Mary Jane was going to be recast for this film, but was left to Kristen Dunst because they could not find anyone else in time. Which one is the lie?
Dude, all of those sound really plausible.
I was
Like-
really looking for hints of like your sense of humor in there.
But honestly, all of those sound like that could have happened.
I have a lot of good ones this time, so.
Okay, so the second one was Willem Dafoe wasn't going to be in it. That seems a little iffy that he was just walking by the production set and then that happened. That seems a little iffy to me. I'm going to go with that one.
With the second one?
Yeah, I'm going with the second one.
What about you, Brando?
I'm gonna go with the first one.
The first one?
Which was the Mary Jane and the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a bit stumped, so why not?
The first one was with the picture of Mary Jane on the wall.
Okay, that's believable. I'm gonna go with the second one too.
You're both wrong. It's the third one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
What was the third one again?
Mary Jane was not going to be recast. She signed a contract for all 3 movies.
Dang. That is funny. Wow.
Yep. Willem Dafoe literally was just walking by, and they were like, "Hey, man, what's up? Come on in. We're going to put you in a mirror."
Wow. That
Yep.
is that surprises me.
Yep.
Avenge me, Harry.
Exactly.
Avenge me.
It's so funny. Like, if you think about that. You can't give in.
Bad luck to kill a seabird.
There's bad luck to kill a seabird.
Nobody's going to
Totally
get any
different
of
movie.
those. Those were 3 different movies.
Totally
We quoted Batman, and he quoted The Lighthouse.
Hey, another shitty movie with Willem Dafoe in it, but
Amazing. But yeah, if you think about that scene where Willem Dafoe's in the mirror and how that like correlated with Harry kind of turning, like imagine that was not in it.
that just seems so planned.
I know.
That they would just be like, "Oh, come on, man,
Yeah.
let's film a scene real quick." It seems so well put in there
That like reading that, I have newfound respect for these filmmakers because they were able to incorporate him into a scene that I feel like if it wasn't in there, this movie would have been different. You know what I mean?
well, and Willem Dafoe is Willem Dafoe.
Exactly.
Freaking love
He's
Willem
amazing.
Dafoe.
All you Willem Dafoe haters, step aside. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Heck yeah.
Sir,
All right.
So we both
Number
got
one.
that wrong.
I'm not close enough to my mic.
Number 1, for the sequence where Aunt May is taken hostage and later aids Spider-Man on the roof building. Rosemary Harris, I think is her name, hired a stunt double because she was too scared that the intensity of the scene would be too risky. So, she hired a stunt double, basically.
Yeah.
And then the second one, Tobey Maguire's agent asked for $25 million or 10% of the gross, whichever was going to be more. But Columbia Pictures denied it. And then the third one is the phone number on Peter's helmet for the Joe's Pizzeria is a real New York pizza place. And the phone number is 212-366-1182. Which one's real?
Okay,
Don't look it
that's-
up. You can't look it up. That's
I
cheating.
want to call that number.
It's probably so disconnected by now.
Oh, yeah.
You know that place is out of business. That's if that's true. Which, that seems too clever to an extent. But also, the Tobey Maguire thing, I don't feel like that's something he would do. Like, literally, like, I guess that's not really him. That was more of his agent, if that's true, about the whole $25 million. But honestly, that doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, though. I feel like that would happen because he saw the resounding success of the original Spider-Man, so they're probably like, okay, I want to get paid for this one.
Right.
So I think that's true. So I'm going to cut that one out. So that one's true. So that leaves the pizza place and then what was the first one again?
The Aunt May hiring a stunt double.
That sounds right too, honestly. That pizza place. Sorry, I'm letting you talk. You've been driving to talk. My bad.
As I feel like the second one's true because like I heard from a lot of different people that like Tobey Maguire is notoriously hard to work with and extremely
he's a baby.
expensive. That too.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine him doing that.
Yeah. I would say that's true.
I
So-
don't get money.
What was that third one again?
It was the phone number being real for actual pizza place in New York.
That seems a little. Nah, I don't know about that one. That seems a little fake.
I'm gonna actually go with that first one because you were really vague on it, and
What
the
was
whole
the-
scene was CGI.
That's not true, but
Wait, really?
A lot of it.
I mean, there's a lot of scenes that were CGI, but I mean, they were
She wasn't like being grabbed by actual mechanical.
no,
octopus
but they
arms.
they were in a harness and everything. Like it wasn't like they were on the
Well,
side
dang.
of a building or whatever. She was in a harness.
Okay.
So she was on the side of the building? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, whoever was playing it was on the side of the building. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, great. Third one.
the phone number being real.
Yeah, I want to mix it up. I don't want to do the same one every time.
Sticking with the first.
You're right, Brandon.
Thank the Lord.
She did her own stunts the entire movie.
Yeah, there were no stunts. She was. It was green screen, bro. Not really
No.
green screen, but
Well, sort of, but she if you look at the behind the scenes, she's in a harness on the side of a. It wasn't that tall of a building, but it was like probably 30 stories high. But I mean, it was she was in a harness on the side of a building when she was holding on with the umbrella thing.
yeah,
she
like,
wasn't
not that
actually holding
intense.
on, but yeah.
I am-
But she's like 80 years old. Imagine your grandma holding onto the side of a building.
At this point,
I am
great-grandma.
being
Right.
I'm straight garbage right now. I haven't gotten either one of these. This is trash.
that's
I'm usually
all right.
really good at this.
That's
Yo,
all right.
I'm actually ahead of you for once.
Oh god.
You
and it's all-
guys, yeah, Brandon's got 1 point. So, all right, stay looking away. Here we go. So, the first one is the original title for the second film in the series was supposed to be The Amazing Spider-Man, which was later, with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. The second one is on the original DVD. If you click up on the main menu, Spidey Sense appears over Spider-Man's head and is clickable. Once you click it, a secret clip of Spider-Man doing the Charleston dance plays for 5 minutes.
No.
And then the third one, it never rained on any of the days they shot outside. The cast and the set were very lucky the entire time of shooting.
Okay. That second one.
You repeat that first one more time.
The original title of the second Spider-Man movie was supposed to be The Amazing Spider-Man, which was
Okay.
later named, for the first of the Andrew Garfield movies.
Okay, so I'm going to say this right now. That second one is so incredibly convoluted and detailed that's so true.
I remember the first movie DVD having something like that.
There was that, which I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's definitely true. So honestly,
You're really good at like hiding these things. your expression remains.
I
the
was
same
up
the whole
till
time.
3 writing these. The
Whoa.
other night, so.
I honestly
Yeah.
think, yeah, like I said, the second one is true. That's so incredibly detailed that there's no way. There's no way. It seems so false that it's got to be true, and that's why it's on the IMDb fun facts thing.
Yeah.
Because that's so dumb that it's true. So second one's true. So it's only the first or the second, or the first or the third.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the first one again.
The first one was the title of this movie was supposed to be The Amazing Spider-Man, which is the Andrew
One.
Garfield one. You think it's that one?
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
What was the third one again?
It never rained on any of the sets they shot outside.
Okay.
That sounds, honestly, I'm not going to say it, but
You already have.
I'm gonna go with the third one.
With the third one?
Yeah.
You're both wrong. It was the second one.
really?
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I took an IMDb trivia from the first one and tried to put it with this one, and it was wrong.
Dang it.
Yep.
We are garbage, man.
These are just
You're doing
these are
slightly
fun.
less garbage than I'm doing.
That's all right. We've only gone through 3, and I still have so many more.
How many more do you have?
2, 3, 4 more.
Dang. Okay.
Let's go.
Let's do
All right,
it.
Here we go.
All right. I have time to actually get ahead.
All
Maybe. If I don't, not super trash.
Here we go. The noise that you hear whenever the spider web is shot or touching something, when it's like the whoosh or whatever, it is made by hitting tape from a cassette and leather straps on the floor. The second one is the movie was sent to cinemas under the name 8 Arms to try and avoid piracy and people trying to steal it. And then the third one is Gwen Stacy, one of Peter's girlfriends in the comic book, is supposed to be one of the students in Peter's class.
I feel like that's true. The third one. Now I don't.
So
remember
the second
other
one was
story.
8 Arms?
Yeah.
Like, that actually sounds kind of true.
What about 8 Arms? I forget.
So
the
basically,
others,
they
like-
sent because you know how they always send the whatevers to the movie theaters early,
Yeah.
to kind of
I used to work at Carmike Cinemas before that was bought out by AMC, and we'd always get these little USB flash drives that had code names on them, and we'd get like emailed or whatever, or the manager would like what those movies actually were. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that way, if it gets intercepted in the mail, they're not like, oh, tobacco, this is nothing, when it's actually like the third, Star Wars movie or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
So they called it 8 Arms to make it different. That honestly sounds true. Like, I feel like that would be.
And one more time, what was the second one?
that was the movie being called 8 Arms for the theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what that one was. I can read them again if you look away. The
You don't have to like read the whole thing.
Yeah. The first one was about the noise, like what the Spider-Man,
Okay.
what the webs were, which was hitting the ground with a cassette tape. And then the second one was the movie being called 8 Arms. And the third one was Gwen Stacy supposed to be Spider-Man's classmate, which you can see,
In the movie?
in the scene. Yeah. Like, remember when he's in school? He quits being Spider-Man, he goes to school,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, science, science, science.
That's, yeah. That
Gwen
sounds
Stacy
right.
is supposed to be sitting next to him or in that classroom.
Supposed to? So,
Yeah.
like, it didn't happen? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused by what that means by supposed to.
I'm trying to be as generic as possible, trying to confuse you, like if it's right or wrong.
I'm actually gonna go with the second one.
Okay, what's
The
about
8
it being
Arms.
called 8 Arms?
That sounds, it's Gwen Stacy and then it's, honestly, I don't like doing the same answer as you after you've said yours because it feels like I'm
It's
piggybacking
whatever-
off your
nope.
answer, but I don't want to, I
You
also,
know I'm right. I'm kidding.
that's what I'm saying, but I also don't want to pick another
And you
one
can
just
do
because
that.
I'm just like,
That's fine. It would be different if you were like waiting for him to say it and then you said it right after and then it would be obvious. But
Like yeah, what Ethan said.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I think, honestly, that one sounds the least likely out of all of them, so I'm going to do 2-2.
Okay. All right, you both are right.
Yes.
Yep.
that's
It
right.
was what was it called? I think it was under the name of Spray Paint. Is what they sent it under. Something completely different.
There we go.
See, I knew that was wrong because
Well,
he
Dr.
doesn't even
Octavius has 4 arms. Not
and
8.
if you want to get technical, he's got 6. Like with
That's
his real
true, yeah.
arms.
Yeah.
Nothing adds up to 8.
Nothing adds up to, yeah, I know. Creative. Stupid. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right. The first one, Harry Osborn Harry Osborn was not supposed to be in charge of his father's company, but the script needed a way for Peter to meet with Dr. Octavius, so they made Harry Octavius his main supporter. The second one is real needles were used in the scene when Dr. Octavius first attached his tentacles to his body.
No.
And then the third one is Doc Ock's arms were made of plastic and were operated by 6 puppeteers.
Third one is
That's
false.
garbage.
Third one is false. They're all friggin' CGI.
Are you sure about that?
It is false. It's the third
Oh,
one.
it's gonna be wrong, but let's go for it.
Yeah, it's the second one.
Is
Or
the
no,
false
it's
one?
it's the first one is the false one.
What was the first one?
That Harry was supposed to be Harry wasn't supposed to be in charge of his father's company.
Oh, that sounded believable because
Nope.
like his father just got booted from the company. I wouldn't think they'll go, oh, let's take his son instead.
Right.
That does
No.
sound kind of trash. Now that I think about that.
Nope.
Seriously?
Yep.
When the heck was it non-CGI?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it was CGI in some points, but,
But it
was
always
operated.
looked CGI to me. Like
I know.
always.
You know, that whole hospital scene that happened that looked
That
like
was
it should
probably
be
the
rated
only
R.
Some of those were CGI, but I mean,
The
if you
up-close
think about
shots,
it, if you
like,
think about it when
yeah.
they're like moving and looking at him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, those don't look.
Those were
CGI.
puppeteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were when it was puppeted.
Dang
like when
it.
it's doing the force field or whatever, those were
That one sounded
puppets.
so false. Because I was like, the only time I ever saw him, it looked CGI. So I was like, okay, that's false.
That's so
Really
funny.
not.
So you have 1 point, Brandon has 2, right?
Dang
Is
it,
that right?
yeah.
Okay.
Gosh darn it, man.
2 more. Brandon's ahead. So let's see if he can actually cop one.
I'm going to have to start taking risks here and just...
All right. So first one, Kristen Dunst dyed her hair red for this film as opposed to wearing a wig during the first film. The second one is approximately $54 million was spent on digital effects alone. And then the third one is Tobey Maguire did most of his own stunts for the film. However, he had a stuntman do all of the sequences requiring him to fall onto cars. Sorry, I worded that one weird.
One.
That is the third one is so false. That is your humor all over it.
I don't know.
1.
3,
You're sticking with that?
Yeah.
3.
Brandon's right.
That's what I thought.
I am so trash. There's no way I can win now. I could tie. No, I can't even tie.
No, you can't even die. But
Dang
let's
it.
still do it just for the fun of it.
Oh, my back.
Oh, my back.
Yeah.
Dang it, man. I was
All right.
so garbage. These are a lot better
There's
than the
one
last
more.
two.
There's still one more. So let's just do it for the fun of it, all right? Still don't.
These are double points.
Yeah, there you go. All or nothing.
Okay.
All or
So
nothing.
literally,
Freaking
you
all or
have to
nothing.
miss
That's
it,
great.
and I have to win it
Yep.
to at least tie.
Yep. All right, here we go. The first one. Many fans, including Sam Raimi himself and Tobey Maguire, prefer this film over the first and third one. And the second one is during the train sequence, Sam Raimi almost fell out of his director's chair because of the intensity and amazing acting done by all of the actors in this film. And then the third one.
No.
The third one. Listen, the third one. An early storyline idea that was thrown out was for Harry to put a price on Spidey's head, which would have introduced at least 3 other Spider-Man villains.
Two.
That sounds really cool, actually. That third one.
Two. There's
Two
no.
I'm sorry. I think you
Are
gave
you
up
kidding
on
me?
that last one.
Two.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Don't tell me it's true.
That is true. I'm gonna be so mad.
No, it's not.
Are you kidding me?
That's not true. You're
Okay.
right. You're right.
God, I thought you were saying no. It's not. It's true. I was
He
like,
didn't
no.
fall out of his chair, but he did cry during that scene.
Good.
That's a little more believable.
That's way more believable.
Like, whoa, it's so good.
Whoa! This acting is great. That's so dumb.
Oh my gosh. Yep, that's it. So, since you both got it right, I guess that's just Brandon wins.
Brandon, I still won. But at least I have a more respectable score. Hey, all right,
There
we
you
get it.
go.
We get it.
One more score.
One more score.
All right, now it's time for the alternate endings, which I sent out to everybody. I got so many back; it was amazing.
I have one, but like I'll save it. For the
Yeah,
end,
you
I
can do it
guess.
at the end of all of these.
Yeah.
If you want to leave your alternate ending, just go to patreon.com/talkthisway or follow me on Instagram, which I'll leave all those links in the description. And yeah, you just send us your alternate or a part that you want, to change that would make this movie better, or, have a better ending. These are really good. All right, you ready?
Let's do 'em.
So this first one is by Dyslexic Dew 01.
I know this man.
Yeah, I know. Remember the scene where Mary Jane is running through the streets in her wedding dress?
Yeah.
Remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if she got hit by a car?
It's very
I like
morbid.
this one.
But it
It's a
would be
different
a
take.
cool segue
What would
into like
happen? What would happen? I mean, like, how would that change the story?
I feel like it would,
Peter's dark side would finally come out.
dude.
He'd go
But
on
that
a
would be
killing
such a good
spree.
segue into him falling into the temptation of the symbiote suit
That
because he's
That would
like
be cool,
because he's
actually.
like I wasn't powerful enough to save Mary Jane. I wouldn't say she's dead, but like she got really injured or something like that.
It was like a Barbara from Batman. Like she got crippled, because of and it turns out Sandman was the one driving the car.
we made a whole new movie.
Like the guy that actually killed his uncle actually crippled his girlfriend.
Okay, now we'd be going a little bit
That would
like
be
he is at the
amazing.
wrong place at
Well,
the
that's
wrong
who Sandman
time.
is. That's who Sandman is. Sandman's the guy who killed his uncle.
Spoilers for Spider-Man 3. It came out like 10 years ago.
My bird hit the window all the way at full
A
speed.
bird just kamikaze
Bam!
into the window. I really
But
hope
that
we
is
can hear
so
that.
like seriously though, like him like that would make so much more sense for him to like kind of give in to the symbiote suit
Yeah.
and be like more okay with it like in the long run. That would
Yeah.
that would have been and
That
then
would have been
like
a good story. Like,
and then
honestly.
him trying to come back from the brink of doing that and finding his true identity as just being Spider-Man. Bro, that
And-
would have been so
and for,
cool.
like finally forgiving his his enemies and stuff. Man, that would be
That would have
amazing.
been so cool. I mean,
That
we
would
still
be
kind of
amazing.
got that in Spider-Man 3 because he forgave Sandman at the end, but like
Yeah.
it was still
This would have been way better. Thanks, Dyslexic Dew. I hope that's how you pronounce that username. Second one is from Joe Goldberg 2287, and he says, or she, I don't know, probably a he because it says Joe. Instead of leaving her wedding, Mary Jane stays or sadly walks down the aisle and marries the guy.
That would be
That would be kind of another of what we just talked about. Another temptation, I
Yeah.
guess.
It could lead into that, yeah. It's hard though too because we know that Venom is the next villain. You know what I mean? So no matter what, everything kind of has to tie into that. But imagine if it wasn't. Like, what would happen if we didn't know that Venom was the next villain? That could tie into like maybe another villain. If like, what would that do if she actually got married? Like, what if she got married, but then they were still like, because you know that J. Jonah Jameson's son, which is who she's marrying, is a Spider-Man villain. You know that, right?
Yeah. Wasn't he Venom at one point, or
I don't think he was Venom. He was something else. He was another. God, I can't
in the
remember.
comics he was the one that kind of brought Venom to Earth in the
Yeah.
first place.
No, that's right. I remember that.
So I thought he was Venom, but I could be wrong.
No, you're right. I think there's several different versions because I remember that now, but I also remember reading one where he was another type villain, like not saying that he was Electro, but like that. You know what I mean? Where he was like one of those kind of off, quick villains that Spider-Man catches really fast.
Right.
yeah.
So that would be cool. Like his girlfriend's married to his villain, like his nemesis or something like that. That would be intense. That would be nuts. That would be crazy.
Bro, these sound so dope though. Low key, like
These are awesome. All right, so the next one is from Master J. Gordon, and this one's long. This one's a long one, but I love this one. It says, "I would have loved a thing where every few scenes could end or begin with a flashback that represents why Doc Ock is doing what he's doing. Say he got bullied or abused as a kid, and in one of the scenes, he sees something that reminds him of that. Insert flashback." And then when he returns back to the present with a new scene and knowledge about what that happened. So like, let's say when they come in to kind of shut him down, he gets that like a flashback of him being bullied or whatever for how smart he is. And then it comes back and he's like, and then kills him. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Sam Raimi would need that R-rated cut. Let's go.
Dude, low key, that hospital scene would have been amazing R-rated.
That was a little bit terrifying, I'm not gonna lie.
even on its own, it was terrifying.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but I mean, like you look and you see the arms grab the person by the chest and throw him across the wall. That arm would have gone straight through That arm would have ripped it. Like, imagine pulling somebody up and then ripping them in half.
Dude, that lady being like dragged across the floor and her nails.
That was
are
aw-
just,
Ugh,
Like,
I hate
oh.
that sound. Yeah, that would have been bad. Oh, and even with like the saw, you know, like one of the arms pulls up the saw and just saws somebody's face.
oh.
That'd have been freaking awesome.
Didn't a guy get like shoved into like a light fixture or something like that?
Yeah, but they cut away.
Oh, that's right.
They cut away. The same thing. They did that the same way with Octavius's wife. Like the glass came in and you saw right before it got into her eye, and then you just heard like a, you know,
He was
you
cutting
should
it
have just showed
close.
it.
He's like, I gotta have a PG-13 rating, but I really want to do
Yeah.
this.
Yep. Yeah, that one was awesome. And then the last one, which is from Julie Kay. Mary Jane should have died, and Gwen Stacy should have been introduced to be the new love interest, so that their relationship can grow into the third and final movie. Because she's introduced in the third movie, but very, very like at the very end. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not at all. You barely get to see any of it.
Which would have been cool.
Because I mean that one literally ties into like the first two. Like Mary Jane gets married, or Mary Jane dies, or gets crippled, or whatever, and then Gwen Stacy shows up and is like, "Hey, babe, you know, I'm blonde. You should date
Or
me."
something like
Am I allowed to not like this?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I don't know about that.
What do you
feel-
not like about it?
Because I feel like their like connection has been building like from the past two movies.
Mary Jane's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of kill her off like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the only way that
You're a
would
bad
work is
writer,
if it
Julie
was
Kay.
very.
I'm kidding.
The only way that would work is if it was done right, like
Yeah.
correctly in a way that was thought out and not just like, let's kill Mary Jane because we need shock value.
I mean, it could be really good. Like if you do it right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if it was more into the whole segue of the whole things beforehand about like the symbiote suit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, like after tying into someone else's theory, like if she got married and then died afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and he had problems with her now technically ex-husband.
Mm. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
true.
So like, there's a fourth
And
Spider-Man
that's
movie.
when that husband becomes a villain.
Yeah,
And that's the third movie villain.
and blame Spider-Man,
Exactly.
dude, and then Gwen Stacy shows up.
So
just to
basically-
confuse it all.
Now I'm just making it more complicated, but in the comics, J. Jonah Jameson was the main reason the Scorpion
Yeah.
existed. What if he kind of helped his son
Mm.
like achieve his revenge as the Scorpion?
That would have been cool,
I
dude.
put way too much thought into
There
that.
is so
but
much
that'd be
lore.
cool.
Like this is again why I love Spider-Man. Like the lore is just so extensive. Stan Lee, you're amazing. God rest your soul.
Rest in peace.
Oh man, yeah, those were awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah, if you guys wanna leave your own, just go on to patreon.com/talkthisway and leave it or follow my Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, do you guys have any last thoughts about this movie?
I had one more theory,
Oh, that's right, I
or
forgot. Yeah.
alternate ending.
Oh yeah,
Go
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Go for it.
I mean, since these movies like are vastly different from the comics,
Mm-hmm.
I could say that big plasma ball or whatever that he was trying to drown into the river.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
end
yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah.
What if that was just like the origin for Electro? I mean, it would be way
Yeah.
different, but
Yeah.
that's all I got, dude.
Yeah.
I thought of this like last minute, like
'Cause
before we start recording.
It could be. It's literally the sun. It's like a mini sun.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gravitron, but no one knows who that is.
Yeah, nobody knows.
I mean, he's really cool, but no one
Yeah.
knows who he is.
No, yeah, that would make sense, I guess, if somehow that energy, because it sank,
Mhm.
like all that energy went into the water somehow and like turned into electricity. How could the sun's energy turn into electricity by going in the water?
This is Spider-Man. I don't really think about the
Yeah,
science.
you're
This is
right.
true.
But,
Anything can happen in the Spider-Man universe. This is the
There's a
thing
guy
we
named
need to take.
Mysterio.
True.
He's not an actual magician, but so people who've played the Spider-Man 2 game will get this, right? But in the Spider-Man 2 video game, Mysterio has this huge buildup, right? All of these amazing levels, like you're swinging.
I forgot.
You're swinging
it's a
all the
fake
way.
out.
You're swinging all the way to like the Statue of Liberty to fight him, and he's not there. You know, like all this super build up, and then you find him robbing a convenience store, and you punch him once, and he's done because he's a fake. You know what I mean? He's a fake.
Okay,
He's just a
yeah.
magician who is distracts, but it's just funny. Like
That's what I love
yeah.
about Mysterio and why I think he's such a cool and dope character is that he doesn't have, like, in a one-on-one fight with almost anybody, he would instantly
Yeah.
like not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
But
Honestly,
literally,
similar
yeah.
to Joker in that way.
mm-hmm.
I mean, Joker get his ass beat one-on-one with Batman, but
Mm-hmm.
from afar, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'll do some
Dude.
real damage.
Oh, it's so cool. I love villains, man.
Yeah.
In these superhero movies,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that would be really cool. I like that. I almost would prefer that as a setup for Electro rather than him falling into an electric pad of eels. That's
That
kinda
was
dumb.
so dumb. Now I think
It's
about
very,
it.
very dumb. He's freaking yeah. Anyway, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. I'm Electro.
All right, Jamie
Stupid.
Foxx.
Stupid. Okay. So yeah, the next movie that we're gonna watch is obviously gonna be Spider-Man 3, just so that we can finish out
Sweet.
this series. We're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do after this, but I have some ideas, so we'll figure it out. But the next one will be Spider-Man 3. So be sure to do your research and leave us that alternate ending. Yeah. So. Oh, and plug the merch. I forgot I'm wearing the merch. Check the back.
Ooh.
There you go.
Can't even see it probably. Yeah, if you go on Patreon, there's a discount code for you. So
Oh, get that
Check that
Patreon,
out.
y'all.
yeah, man. Yeah, this is like super comfy. But anyway, all the links for this stuff will be on the description. Okay, this is what's funny. You have to do it with the face. But if you had to rate this movie 1 out of 10, no, what would it be? And you have to get as close. I know you can't, but you have to get as close as you can.
This movie for me, nostalgia-wise and just stuff like that, I'd give this. I can't even remember what I gave the first Spider-Man. I know
You
we're
gave
doing
it like
different
an
weighting
8.
ratings. I think it was like an. No, I think I gave it a 9.5.
Yeah, you gave it a lot. That's right.
Honestly,
Something like that.
I still like the first one better because that's where my nostalgia is in that first movie. I haven't watched the second one a lot.
Yeah.
That was like my third time watching it ever.
Right.
But so I'd probably give it like a 9. Probably give it a 9.9 out of 10.
What was that?
That was a moan. Hey, we're not recording a porn in here, y'all.
Oh my god.
Trust us.
Your parents are downstairs like, what's going on?
What in the world? What kind of podcast is this? What about you, Brandon?
It's a very, very specific number. I'm going to say like an 8.7. Out of, yeah.
You
out of 10.
trashed mine. That was worse.
I know.
Oh
For-
my
forgive
god.
me.
No, it's okay.
There's no way to.
There's
There's
Tobey
no way
Maguire.
to recapture that.
You can't match Tobey Maguire's babiness in that.
I don't think even he could do that again.
No, absolutely.
He was like, whoa.
He finished
We're
it. He was
keeping
like, yeah, I gave the last one a 6. I would give this one an 8 just because of how much it was freaking amazing. But yeah, like an 8.
All right, that was better.
Yeah, this movie. I like this. Just nostalgia. Like this one, like just this movie, and then the game, like playing the game on the PS2. So much nostalgia. But anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's been lit, guys.
Yeah, man.
See y'all next 2 months whenever we get to recording that.
Heck yeah. Hey, Spider-Man 3, the worst
3.
out of the trilogy, from what people say, but still a fun movie.
Venom. I am Venom. Like a turd in the wind.
So stupid.
Different movie.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
See
All
ya.
right, pizza time.